Hello there. Today, my name is Ryan. Today, we're going to be looking at extortion emails. They usually come in the form of an email that starts off by telling the recipient that one of their passwords is known. It then goes on to convince the recipient that the person knows a lot about them, a lot of private information, a lot of embarrassing information, and will expose them to friends, colleagues, etc. if they don't pay a certain amount um, of Bitcoin usually to not have this information disclosed. To the individual, it may seem like this is a targeted attack directly at them, especially if what's in the email applies to them. This actually happened to my grandmother. Thankfully, the template used, she could see that this email did not apply to her at all, other than the fact that it had her password. So I'm going to explain how that works and look at what we can do, what process we can go through. So I've made this diagram here. So what will happen is a hacker or a cyber criminal will target a website or some sort of establishment or enterprise online that holds a lot of customer data, a lot of names, a lot of email addresses, a lot of passwords, and that's what they're looking to get. If they're successful, you take all the data, the user data. They then sort the user data into packages, put it up for sale on a forum or marketplace. And then on this forum or marketplace, different packages of this stolen data will be up for sale and available to other criminals, other cyber criminals. Typically, the cyber criminal at this stage buying this data is less sophisticated in nature than this one. So once they have bought that data, they now have a long list of names, email addresses, and passwords associated with that. This method now relies on hoping that, because a lot of people have the same password for a lot of things, for a lot of accounts, so this method relies on people having the same password on a lot of different accounts, because what it will do is this attacker, this cyber criminal will take the data in a listed format and use it with a template with the words already set in. The only thing they will change is the password and the name of the person, the name of the target. This will be done in like an automated process, and the reason they use a template is obviously for automation to save time. Then they'll send it to a large amount of people, the same email just with different names and passwords. These people are likely all in the same data breach, or not in the same data breach, but have come from the same sort of method. They've also had their accounts involved in breaches, and that's how there's such a large amount of people in this package that this person is sending to. Now the template is there and it won't apply to all. Like my grandmother, for example, she could tell that what was in the email didn't apply to her. The only thing that did apply was the password. But this method relies on the small percentage of people that it will apply to and will believe it is genuinely targeted at them. It relies on them panicking, them thinking fast, them being under pressure and paying up to save potential embarrassment, as this email threatens to expose them, expose very private information about them that in reality the attacker does not have, but is just pretending to have, because what they have so far is a password, and that from their perspective is enough for them to scare you and convince you that they are worth worrying about. So I made a list of what to do, step-by-step guide. So the first thing is to not panic, take a deep breath, If it feels targeted, like it's very specific towards you, you need to understand that these emails are sent in a large number. It's a template used in an automated process, and it relies on you panicking, feeling under pressure, and paying up. That's what the entire method relies on. So the first thing you want to do is relieve that pressure, relieve the panic, and get out of that state of mind. The second thing you want to do is look at what password they've provided. Now, if you have that exact password for other accounts, you need to go and change them ASAP, especially if it's your email. If your email also has the same password, that's the first one you need to change, because the email is the key to all the other accounts in a lot of cases. So if you forget your password, you get sent a confirmation link to your email. That's why you would prioritize email first if you had the same password for your email. Then the third thing we're going to think about is, what else do you have similar passwords to? Now, given that this isn't an incredibly sophisticated attack, this is somewhat unlikely, but it's not impossible. What they could do is take a phrase or take your password and use it in a dictionary attack. So this is where they will use a process that will fire lots of different numbers, names, word combinations all into a system to see if that's your password until it unlocks, basically, until it opens, till it signs in. But if they already have a hint as to what it might be, then it makes that process a lot quicker and easier. In this situation, that's unlikely, but I would say change all similar passwords to the one that they showed you also, just to be safe. The next thing we're going to do is go to haveibeenpwned.com to find what breach you was in that led your password to be compromised. So like I was shown in the diagram I represented, the casino had been breached. So once you're at this website, you'll be able to see what breach you're in, what was taken, etc. This will help you understand if you need to do anything else. So in the situation where it was just username and password taken, you've already changed all your password, you don't need to worry here. But if something like credit card or bank information has also been taken, then you probably need to or should contact your bank as soon as possible to get this information changed. And then the extra steps that we're going to do is to extract the email and generate a report using Fish Tool, and then file that report to prevent this happening from other people, to prevent this type of email getting to someone that may be more likely to panic and pay and fall victim. And I'd like to emphasize not to respond or antagonize the sender out of aggression. We don't know their full skill capability, and we don't want to stand out to them any more than their other targets. Best thing to do is block and ignore. So the first thing I'm going to do is go to haveibeenpwned.com. In this situation, I'm going to use a very old email. So here we can say that this one's been pwned. It's been in 3 data breaches. Here we can see what was taken, where. So a huge list of email address and password pairs appeared in a combo list. This is on Exploiting, an infamous cybercrime forum. So we can see here compromised data, email addresses, password, email addresses, passwords, email addresses and passwords. So we know that if our email address password does not match the one that they showed us and all other passwords are changed, and this is the case, it's fine. But if it's saying other things, then this is where we then need to make a different move. So if it says something like bank or credit card details, that's where we need to contact the bank and get other things changed. So here's an example of the email. Sort of comes in a template like this. This is where the stars are, is where the password would be. goes on to say that the person has 24 hours and that they must effectively abide by what this person is telling them, setting the tone for a sort of a panicky, nervous, nerve-inducing situation. It goes on to say that you don't know me, they know a lot about you, they know a lot of embarrassing stuff, a lot of embarrassing material, and a lot of embarrassing things about the person. Even going as far as to say that there's a recording about the person. Here it goes on to say about who they're intending in exposing it to. So here we have co-workers, etc. And then we get down to the bottom where it's negotiation. If you pay this amount of Bitcoin to this address, I won't expose you, etc. So this is a template I literally copied from Google. You can find them anywhere. This is the template I was talking about. And what we want to do, you want to come to these three little dots here, go to download a message. So downloading the email. Take it and put it on the desktop for ease of access. Then we're going to go over to Fish Tool. You can sign up for a free account. I think you get to use 3 entries per 72 hours or something like that with a free account. What we're going to do is take this downloaded email file and we're going to drag and drop it straight in. So here you can see that it comes up with a lot of information, originating IP, etc. IP who is. You can see here that it's coming from genuine Proton Mail server. But yeah, a lot of other stuff. This is effectively the hash of the attachment, and yeah, this is it. So effectively from here we can put this into a report format. This does it for us. It has a lot of, if this was a spoofed email, for example, you see here where it's reply to, return path, and from, these would differ. So this is where you would know the from or the reply to or the return path. If any of these were different, it would sort of help narrow down where it's really coming from. But in this situation, we can see that it's all from the same one. So resolve, come down here, classification mode. I'm going to go legitimate email here, non-malicious because it's not malicious in this case, but then we're going to resolve and click PDF, download the report. What we now have here is a report showing all the details from this in a report form. What we can do now is take this file, put it into this document, put it into a file with maybe a screenshot of the email as well. So whoever receives this, whoever we're reporting to, has got a nice thorough report, and we didn't really have to do much hard work to get to it. And then depending on where you are, so in this situation we've seen that it was a Proton Mail email, so we might want to report this email to Proton Mail. And also because I'm from the UK, I think we report to NSCC, so NSCC report email. I think, yeah. So this is the email address that we would report it to, possibly on top of Proton Mail, if that's where we know it came from. I hope I've helped. Maybe prepare someone for this situation, or at least understand how this situation works. Um, if someone you know is targeted with this, you know what to do now. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching.